Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Q&A segment of the Stain and Seal Show. We take your questions from all around the world on professional wood care. So whether it's maintenance, whether it's staining and sealing, whether it's preparation and wood restoration, we take all your questions and we answer them right here. So stay tuned, find out what the question of the day is.
I do want to take questions this morning, but I've got a couple of questions that people already asked, and I'm going to drop them right there on the screen. And let's talk about this. So when quoting a fence in a subdivision, how do you handle the neighbors who share the fence? Do you offer to do their side as well? Or do you just let them know you'll be working on the other side? So there's a couple different scenarios here. Whose fence is it? Do they share the fence? Is this fence literally built on the property line? Or is this fence just slightly inside one side or the other? So you got to determine whose fence it is. If it is my fence completely, I'm going to stain both sides of it. And most states have laws for you to be able to maintenance your property. So sometimes to maintenance your property, you have to go on your neighbor's property to do it. So generally, as long as you are within reason, you can go on the neighbor's property to stain or build your fence. Even if it's all the way on your side, you can still go to the neighbor's yard to stain it. So generally, we just encourage folks to, hey, you really need to stain both sides of this fence to preserve it. Why would you brush your top teeth and not your bottom teeth? Take care of it and do both sides. We also will let them know that if you stain one side of the fence, chances are oil is going to penetrate through the fence, and you're going to see it on the other side, between the boards, in the knot holes and things like that. So you got to be aware of that. And worst case scenario, if the neighbors only want to do one side and not the other, you just got to let them know about that. The penetration is going to be visible. And if you're doing two sides of the fence a different color, each side a different color, you want to do the light color first with a nice heavy flood coat. And then the dark color, I would recommend you do a couple of light coats to get it, because you don't want the dark color to penetrate through the knot holes on the light colored side. So I hope that's helpful. When starting out staining and sealing, what do I charge? How do I figure out what to charge for services? I'm going to point you over to another video we did called Staining Fences, or How to Bid Fence Staining, How to Bid Deck Staining, in our YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go through our videos. We've got some webinars recorded that go all over staining and sealing services. I want you to go in there and watch those webinars. But essentially, the best way to start out charging, in my opinion, is to discover your cost to do business. What is your cost to produce this job? And that is generally labor and materials. And I also like to personally figure in fuel for mileage. So because you cannot produce a job without driving and burning fuel to get to the job. So what is the cost to do the job? And labor, a lot of guys don't want to charge labor because they say, well, I'm doing it. You have to charge labor, or you will never be able to later charge labor. So you need to charge labor. So what would it cost you to do the job if you had to pay crew to do it for you? What are the materials? What are the fuel? It's generally your cost of goods sold is what that number is. You have to find what your cost of goods sold is, and then you decide a margin. Tom Reber from the Contractor Fight recommends a minimum of a 50% gross profit margin. And so a quick way to get a 50% gross profit margin is take your cost of goods sold, your labor, material, and double it. And that would give you a 50% gross profit margin. That 50% goes to pay all your overhead. It goes to pay insurance, someone who answers the phone for upgraded equipment, and then hopefully there is a profit, a net profit left over when you're done. So, but check out the webinar and it goes deep into that. But you got to understand your cost before you can understand what to charge. So many people just throw numbers out and do not understand what their actual cost is. So be mindful of that.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Stain and Seal Show. I really hope you enjoyed that clip. To see another clip just like it that I think you're gonna love, click on this link right here. Or if you wanna see the full episode, check us out down here. Now make sure you subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next Stain and Seal Show.